Have you ever thought about how to take care of aging loved ones without exhausting your finances or compromising their dignity? Today, elder care is a challenge many families face, and finding a balance can seem nearly impossible. But there are real-life stories of people who have discovered creative, affordable, and compassionate ways to support their loved ones while preserving their independence and happiness. In this video, we'll share 3 uplifting stories that show a path to aging with dignity, joy, and resilience. These stories are a guide for families looking for a balanced approach to elder care. You'll learn how family support, community involvement, and lifestyle changes can make a huge difference for both the elderly and their loved ones. Stay with us until the end to discover practical tips and new ideas for navigating this phase of life, whether for yourself or someone you care about. From building supportive community connections to making small but impactful adjustments, this video offers valuable insights for a more compassionate and connected future. If you haven't already, consider subscribing and hitting the notification bell so you'll be the first to know when a new video drops. Your support truly makes a difference. If you found value in this video, a like and share would mean a lot in helping me reach more people with these important lessons. And I'd love to hear from you. If you're enjoying this topic, leave a 1 in the comments or a 0 if you'd like to see something different. Your feedback helps me improve and bring you the content you want. Let's begin with the first story. Story 1. Grandpa's Journey. My name is Sue, and I'm 75 years old. Life has thrown many challenges my way, especially as I've grown older. One of the hardest parts has been deciding between moving into a nursing home and hiring a caregiver. Both choices come with high costs and often don't fully meet the emotional and practical needs of someone in my situation, especially since my modest pension barely covers these expenses. This year, I turned 75. Instead of celebrating, I found myself feeling more alone than ever, reminded of the 5 years since my wife passed away. Her loss left a huge emptiness in my life, making each day feel more difficult. After she passed, I tried to fill that void and ensure I had help by hiring a caregiver. At first, I felt hopeful, thinking having someone around would bring comfort and ease my worries. Unfortunately, after just 2 months, I had to let the caregiver go. Growing up, I never became skilled at cooking, something my children always worried about. They were concerned for my well-being and generously offered to pay 5,500 yuan a month for a caregiver who would also provide meals and live with me. The caregiver they found was a woman in her early 40s from a rural area. Initially, she seemed kind and reliable, a welcome source of help in my lonely life. But soon, issues started to surface. The meals she made were poorly prepared, barely edible, and far from the nourishing comfort I needed. Worse, she was constantly distracted by her phone and the TV, leaving me feeling ignored and invisible in my own home. There were many times I called out to her for a bit of company or assistance, only to be met with silence. Her lack of attention made me feel even more isolated. Spending over 5,000 yuan a month on someone who didn't truly care about my needs was draining, both financially and emotionally. It was disheartening to realize that the money would have been better spent on groceries and maintaining some sense of independence. With a heavy heart, I let her go, feeling a mix of relief and sadness at another failed attempt to find care and companionship. After that, my children found a place for me in a nursing home. They were genuinely worried about me and wanted to make sure I wasn't suffering alone. But the idea of moving to a nursing home filled me with dread. While many modern nursing homes have improved, they can still feel impersonal and restrictive. The staff, though well-meaning, often seem overworked and unable to give the kind of personal attention I longed for. The strict routines, including the need to register every time I entered or left, made me feel trapped rather than cared for. My strong desire for freedom clashed with the structured schedule, making it impossible for me to feel comfortable. The atmosphere was also difficult to bear. The frequent passing of other residents created a constant reminder of mortality, filling the place with a sense of grief and sadness. After less than a month, I decided to leave. While I felt empowered by reclaiming my independence, I was also saddened by losing what I had hoped would be a source of support and connection. In my heart, I firmly believe that as long as someone can take care of themselves, there is no reason to give up their independence and move into a nursing home, especially for those of us who value our freedom so deeply. To find a middle ground, My children suggested I live with each of them on a rotating basis. This would ensure I had their support while still maintaining some personal space and familiarity. Their idea came from a place of love and concern, but it left me feeling a bit unsettled. Constantly moving between their homes made it hard to feel a sense of stability or truly settle in. While I appreciated their efforts, living with them was a delicate balance that I could only manage for short stays, never more than 2 weeks at a time. Each visit brought moments of warmth and connection, but also moments of tension and a longing for the quiet solitude that had once defined my peaceful, albeit lonely, life. Through these experiences, I have come to understand just how important dignity and independence are as we age. The emotional toll of losing my wife and facing the uncertainties of aging has been significant, but it has also reinforced my belief in the value of self-reliance and personal freedom. While I'm grateful for my children's love and concern, I still seek a way to balance companionship with my strong desire for independence. I'll start by describing my time at my son's house. Both he and his wife work full-time and are often out during the day. My daughter-in-law would prepare lunch for me and leave it in the fridge before heading to work. They had busy schedules, and when they came home, they still had household chores to handle. I often felt like an extra burden, which made me uneasy. During the day, I was mostly alone in their house, and not knowing the neighbors well left me feeling out of place compared to being in my own home. Although my son and his wife were respectful and kind, I sometimes noticed a subtle sense of distance due to my age. For example, at their home, the dishes and utensils I used were separate from theirs. Similarly, my daughter-in-law didn't want me to use their washing machine, citing the elderly smell as a reason. Although I prefer washing clothes by hand, she didn't approve. I had to use the laundromat or go downstairs to wash, which was inconvenient. At my daughter's house, I never intended for her to take on the role of my caregiver. Both she and her husband were always kind to me, but I was aware that my son-in-law also had parents to consider. My grandparents had always been supportive when my children were young, and my daughter's family had even helped with buying a home and car when she got married. As I've aged, I've come to accept that it's important to be aware of your situation. Over the years since my wife's passing, I've realized that trusting myself and maintaining my independence are essential. As long as I am capable of taking care of myself, I don't need to be anywhere but my own home. I've learned to cook simple meals, sauté vegetables, and even make steamed bread. I've also started practicing Tai Chi in the mornings. Meeting other older adults at the park for exercises has helped me stay healthy and positive. Last year, when loneliness started to creep in, I found unexpected comfort in forming a community with others who shared my passion for Tai Chi. This blossomed into a close-knit group that supports and looks after one another. Our group started with around 10 people, most of whom were elderly and living alone. Over time, we expanded by joining a WeChat group for seniors dealing with loneliness. Today, our community has nearly 20 members. The group's purpose goes beyond social interaction. It's a lifeline for those of us who don't have family nearby. When any of us face illness or pain, having someone to rely on is not just comforting, it's vital. Many of us prefer not to go to nursing homes or hire caregivers, both due to the cost and the impersonal nature of these options. The shared desire to maintain independence and avoid financial strain inspired us to create a system of mutual support. This way, we can take care of one another and prevent feelings of abandonment. Stories of seniors passing away alone at home, only to be found days later, highlighted the need for a proactive support network. To counter this, we check in with each other daily. If someone doesn't respond, we immediately go to their home to ensure they're safe and provide help if necessary. Fortunately, most of us live close to each other, either in the same neighborhood or nearby. Over time, our group has grown into a safe haven where we can share our experiences and support each other in meaningful ways. For example, if someone falls ill and needs help with preparing a nourishing meal or needs someone to accompany them to the hospital, we have set up a fare system. Assistance is not given for free. Instead, we compensate the help at a rate of 8 yuan per hour. This arrangement ensures everyone contributes and benefits equally, promoting fairness and respect. For instance, when I wasn't feeling well and needed to go to the hospital, I notified the group. Grandpa Lee stepped in and helped me through consultations over 3 days, totaling 24 hours. As agreed, I paid him 720 yuan. This system is cherished by all members as it not only provides essential assistance, but also allows us to earn a modest income. Caring for one another in this way has created a balanced and supportive environment where everyone feels appreciated and respected. Because we share similar challenges and understand each other's struggles, the connections we form are deep and meaningful. This method has been well received, proving to be more affordable and emotionally fulfilling than hiring a caregiver or living in a senior center. The trust and familiarity within our group give us peace of mind and reassure our children that we are not alone. If you're still with us, please comment 1 to show your support and let us know you're here. Our sense of community extends beyond daily check-ins and mutual help. We often plan outings to the park, where we enjoy fresh air, light exercise, and share stories that make us laugh and feel joyful. These outings aren't just fun. They are essential for our mental and emotional health, strengthening the bonds that define our group. What began as a small circle has grown to include dozens of seniors, each adding their own stories and strengths to our collective. This expansion has relieved some of the burden on our children and provided us with a strong network that offers both practical help and emotional support. Every day, someone in our group is there to check in, offer conversation, and ensure no one feels isolated or afraid of being alone. The minimal cost, only a few hundred yuan, is a small price compared to the expenses of hiring a caregiver or the impersonal nature of a nursing home. I truly believe that this approach is ideal for most seniors who can still take care of themselves. It preserves our dignity and independence while ensuring we have the necessary support. Together, we have built a community where we care for one another, creating mutual respect and companionship that enriches our lives. This initiative has been a beacon of hope and resilience, showing that even in our later years, we can create meaningful connections and support systems that improve our quality of life. If these stories inspire you, please share your thoughts. Comment 9 if you agree or 0 if you don't. Your feedback is valuable to us. Thank you for listening to our story and for supporting our journey towards a fulfilling and connected life in our golden years. Story 2, Grandpa's Reflections. I am Grandpa, 65 years old, and I find myself reflecting on the path my life has taken. My children are well educated and have built their own lives, but I have chosen to live independently, embracing a lifestyle that meets my personal needs and desires. This decision fills me with satisfaction and peace, even though many of my peers choose to live with their children or move into senior homes after retirement. While practical for some, these options don't appeal to me. Instead, I've created a life that brings comfort and contentment. 2 years have passed since I lost my beloved wife, a loss that left a void that cannot be filled. Friends and acquaintances have often suggested that I find a new partner and open my heart again, but I've chosen not to. I treasure the tranquility that comes with being alone, a peace I've cultivated and come to value since my wife's passing. The idea of seeking companionship stirs emotions I'd rather keep at bay. In these quiet moments, I find joy in writing, getting lost in a good book, and tending to my flourishing plants. These activities bring me happiness and a sense of purpose. Occasionally, I enjoy the company of friends from the neighborhood, sharing heartfelt conversations over a warm cup of tea. These moments remind me of the warmth of community and the simple pleasures of life. Though rare, these moments of connection add a touch of joy to my days. Living alone suits me perfectly. My children, who live only about half an hour away by car, visit me regularly, so I'm never truly alone. Financially, I am comfortable with a monthly pension of 5,500 yuan, and since my children have established their own lives, I have no financial burdens. This financial independence allows me to save money and live without relying on them, which is something I value greatly. Despite this, my children worry about me. Their concerns come from a place of love, and they've suggested that I move in with them to prevent any feelings of isolation. They've also mentioned senior homes, thinking it might provide companionship and assistance with daily tasks like cooking and laundry. But when they brought up the idea of a senior home, I felt a strong resistance. Just the thought of leaving my own home, where I feel strong and capable, was unsettling. I have always been self-sufficient, able to cook and manage household chores. Every time my children suggested moving in with them, I turned them down. While I appreciate their good intentions, I don't want to burden them. Plus, staying with them would disrupt our lives, and cause unnecessary inconvenience. Understanding my reluctance, my children proposed hiring a caregiver. When I heard this, I immediately said no. The idea of having a stranger, especially a young woman, live with me made me feel uncomfortable. My daughter saw my hesitation and laughed softly, trying to lighten the mood. She explained that the caregiver they had in mind wasn't the traditional kind. Instead, it was a service designed for the elderly, which intrigued me. She explained that some companies specialize in elderly care services and can install cameras in the home, linked to family members' phones, so they'd be notified if anything happened. My interest grew when she mentioned that daily meals would be delivered, with an option for breakfast if needed. The caregivers would also do laundry every few days, and I could simply request any additional help. Plus, if I ever felt uncomfortable with a caregiver, the company would send a replacement quickly. As she spoke, I became more curious and interested. With a warm smile, she asked, "What do you think, Dad? Would this kind of care work for you? Since you don't want to move in with us or go to a senior home, we can consider this option." Her words made me laugh and ease the tension. All right, I said, realizing that this new type of care could be a good solution. One concern remained: the cost. My daughter reassured me, "It's affordable at 2,500 yuan per month. And you don't have to pay. My brother and I will take care of it. Don't worry about the money." She gently patted my shoulder, and her reassurance about finances lifted a weight off my mind. With my monthly pension of 6,000 yuan, covering the cost seemed reasonable, allowing me to maintain a comfortable lifestyle. Accepting this type of elderly care felt like a blessing. It gave me more time to enjoy my hobbies and peace of mind knowing I had support when needed. This arrangement provided me with a deep sense of gratitude, allowing me to live independently and still receive occasional help. It truly feels like a gift, letting me enjoy my golden years with peace and happiness. If you're still watching this video and find these insights helpful, please comment "Tobe" to let me know you're here with me. Story 3. Aunt Lou's Journey. As I approach my 67th birthday, I've been reflecting on the journey that has brought me here. My name is Lou, and my life has been full of experiences, joys, and challenges that have shaped who I am today. This year, after trying to live with my daughter, I discovered a form of elderly care that truly suits me and meets my needs. In my younger years, I dedicated myself to my career, working hard as a supervisor in a state-owned garment factory. The factory wasn't just a workplace. It was a community where I built lasting friendships and developed my leadership skills. The memories of the busy factory and the camaraderie among co-workers are dear to me. When I retired, my monthly pension was over 4,200 yuan, providing a stable foundation for enjoying my later years. I am fortunate to have two wonderful children. My son completed university and decided to stay in the city to pursue his career. His dedication paid off, and he now has a comfortable home and car, living a prosperous life with his wife and child. My daughter, though living farther away, has a similarly good life and recently welcomed her second child 2 years ago, adding another grandchild to our family. Initially, after retirement, my greatest desire was, I initially wanted to live independently and enjoy the peace of my home without the responsibilities of caring for others or burdening my children. However, life took an unexpected turn. Last year, my husband, who had just turned 68, suffered a sudden stroke and passed away. The loss was devastating, leaving me heartbroken and alone. For a long time, I struggled to cope with his absence, facing many sleepless nights and an overwhelming sense of loneliness. Those dark days made me realize just how fragile life can be and how uncertain the future is. My once warm home, filled with my husband's presence, felt empty and haunted by memories. I would often lie in bed, unable to sleep, consumed by thoughts of grief and the silence around me. During this difficult time, my children showed incredible kindness and support. My daughter, always attentive, frequently invited me to stay with her, offering a break from my solitude. Similarly, my son expressed his willingness for me to live with him, hoping it would bring me comfort and support. This gave me a glimmer of hope, reminding me of our cultural values of caring for elders within the family. Despite my daughter living far away, I decided it would be best to stay at my son's house. I believed being closer to family would ease my loneliness. However, my stay did not turn out as I had hoped. I stayed at my son's home for less than 2 weeks before realizing that reality was far different from my expectations. My son has two young children, a lively grandson and a curious granddaughter. In the past, I had helped care for my grandson until he was about 2 years old. But circumstances required me to return home to care for my sick mother, leaving my daughter-in-law to manage the children on her own. When my granddaughter was born, my daughter-in-law quit her job to take care of the children full-time. She had once asked for my help with the baby, but I couldn't take on the responsibility due to my husband's failing health. This may have strained our relationship, as my daughter-in-law seemed distant ever since. Hoping that things would improve, I thought my grandchildren would be more independent by now. However, I quickly realized the challenges when I moved in. My daughter-in-law voiced her frustrations, pointing out my past inability to help and now expecting to be cared for. Her words made it clear that my presence was more of a burden than a help. From the moment I arrived, the atmosphere was tense. My daughter-in-law rarely cooked, leaving me to prepare meals and do dishes. One evening, my granddaughter asked, "Grandma, why are you cooking like this?" And my daughter-in-law responded by taking the children and leaving abruptly, slamming the door. Her cold, dismissive behavior left me feeling unwelcome and hurt. Each day became a test of patience. Instead of enjoying retirement, I found myself in an unwanted role as caregiver, dealing with strained interactions and unappreciative glances from my daughter-in-law. The stress was compounded by frequent arguments between her and my son, creating a tense and uneasy environment. Even the children sensed the tension, becoming quiet and distant, which made me feel even more isolated. After less than 2 weeks, I decided to leave. I packed my belongings and asked my son to take me home immediately. This experience taught me that relying on my son for care was more complicated than I imagined, and expecting support from my daughter-in-law was not realistic. Back in my hometown, my daughter invited me to stay with her. However, after my recent experience, I was hesitant. I knew her situation was different, with limited space and two children of her own, making it impractical for me to stay comfortably. Her apartment only had 2 bedrooms, so even if I moved in, I wouldn't have a private space. Reflecting on my time at my son's house, I understood the saying, "A parent's home is always the children's home, but a child's home never becomes the parent's home." This truth highlighted the challenges of living with adult children, where expectations and reality often don't align. Since returning home, I have kept my interactions with my children limited to avoid further disappointment and to cherish my own peace. Neighbors, aware of my difficulties, suggested I look for companionship instead of relying solely on my family. They encouraged me to find a partner who could share my life and ease my loneliness. Taking their advice, I reached out to a friend who introduced me to Olu, a kind woman a few years older than me. Olu, who also received a pension of over 5,000 yuan per month, had recently lost her husband and was looking for companionship. I was open to the idea but cautious about starting a new relationship. Olu and I began meeting casually, taking walks at the morning market and sharing meals. Over 2 months, our companionship grew into a comfortable friendship. Encouraged by this bond, Olu invited me to move in with her, suggesting we share expenses by renting out my house. While I was interested, I didn't foresee the challenges ahead. Before finalizing the rental of my home, Olu and I decided to live together. She assured me she would handle the expenses, and we would share shopping and cooking duties. However, the reality didn't match her promises. Household chores became a point of contention as Olu often left things untidy and neglected her responsibilities. Our different habits led to frequent arguments, making our living situation uncomfortable. One notable incident was during a visit to a shopping center. I saw a beautiful second-hand gold ring priced under 500 yuan and suggested that Olu buy it for me as a symbol of our relationship. To my surprise, she refused, saying that at our age, material things were unnecessary and suggested spending the money on golden pork ribs for a healthy meal instead. Her refusal left me feeling unappreciated. Determined, I bought the ring myself. Olu had mentioned she would transfer her pension to me each month for our shared expenses, but in the first month, she didn't. She claimed she had already covered household costs and wanted to save the rest for herself. While I understood her desire to manage her finances, her behavior soon felt selfish. Initially, we agreed to share chores and expenses equally, but it became clear that, at first, everything went smoothly, but as time went on, Olu's true nature started to show. She spent her days playing cards and would come home hungry, often complaining that nothing was ready for her. I reminded her of our arrangement. She would handle grocery shopping while I took care of cooking. However, instead of cooperating, Olu would lounge on the couch after setting the table, finding faults with the meals I prepared. Whether it was too salty or simply not to her liking, she didn't hesitate to criticize, making me feel frustrated and unappreciated. Her dismissive attitude became too much to bear. When I expressed my concerns, she brushed them aside, saying she covered the expenses and that I should do more around the house. I realized this arrangement was unsustainable, so I decided to end it right away. That same day, I packed my things and went back to my own home, relieved to find it hadn't been rented out yet. I had reclaimed my independence, knowing I deserved a living situation that respected my dignity and allowed me to enjoy my retirement without undue stress. Living alone again came with its challenges. Initially, I appreciated the quiet, but before long, the loneliness, especially at night, became overwhelming. Returning home, the silence seemed to amplify memories of my late husband, making it hard to find peace. One day, during a friend's wedding, I spoke with another guest who shared her experience of living in a hotel apartment. She found it practical and comfortable and had been staying there for 6 months. Curious, I accepted her invitation to visit her place. I was immediately taken by how cozy, warm, and well-kept it was, offering a perfect mix of independence and support. This inspired me to look into similar accommodations designed for older adults in bigger cities. These facilities provided studio apartments with inviting decor and included breakfast and dinner, so there was no need to cook. Daily cleaning services ensured a tidy and comfortable environment. Although the cost was similar to a nursing home, the quality of the food and the freedom to come and go made it much more appealing. After returning home, I listed my house for rent through a reputable agency. With my monthly pension of 4,200 yuan and the potential rental income of 1,000 yuan, I calculated that I could comfortably afford to live in a hotel apartment. I informed my children of my decision, hoping for their understanding and support. To my surprise, they worried about the expense, thinking it was too high. I stood firm, explaining that I didn't want to be a burden to them. I suggested that if they were concerned, they could each contribute 1,000 yuan per month, which would be enough. My goal was not to impose, but to ensure I could live with dignity and comfort, enjoying my retirement as I saw fit after years of hard work. By combining my pension with my savings and a little support from my children, I secured a place in the hotel apartment where I now live peacefully and contentedly. This new lifestyle has been a blessing, giving me the comfort, security, and freedom I needed. The monthly cost of around 3,800 yuan might seem high to some, but for me, it's worth it for the independence and quality of life it provides. This type of accommodation may not be for everyone, but it's perfect for those of us who are still self-sufficient and value our independence. The age limit ensures that only those under 75 who can take care of themselves are admitted, creating a community of like-minded people with similar needs and lifestyles. As I enjoy each day in good health, I am thankful for the peace and happiness this new chapter has brought. I've learned that caring for oneself is most important. Money is less significant compared to living a life with dignity and joy. As long as I can eat, move, and enjoy life on my own terms, I know I've made the right choice. This hotel apartment has become a sanctuary where I can cherish my independence, treasure my memories, and look forward to more fulfilling years. If you're still watching this video and find these lessons valuable, please comment 3 to let me know you're here with me. Living with children in old age is a reality that many elderly people face, either by choice or out of necessity. This arrangement can offer comfort and support, strengthening family bonds and providing a sense of security. However, it also comes with challenges for both parents and children. Adult children and their elderly parents must navigate differences in lifestyle, generational gaps, and expectations, which can sometimes lead to tension and discomfort for everyone involved. To create a harmonious living environment, it's important for elderly parents to keep a few key points in mind: effective communication, respect for boundaries, maintaining independence, and fostering emotional understanding.